This story takes us back 20,000 years ago, to a time when humans lived in small tribes. In this tale, we see the early Europeans living together in a tribe, hunting as a unit. The story centers around the tribal chief, Airgan. As winter approaches, he and his tribe set out to gather food for the harsh months ahead. Soon, they come across a massive herd of wild buffalo. The hunters crawl cautiously toward the herd. When Airgan sees the perfect moment, he signals the attack. Everyone lunges at the buffalo. In panic, the buffaloes stampede in the opposite direction, and one by one, many fall into a gorge. Yet, one wild buffalo survives and charges directly at Airgan's son, Noyan, who is on a hunting trip for the first time and doesn't yet know how to handle such danger. Airgan shouts for his son to move aside, but Noyan, terrified, starts running. The enraged buffalo lifts Noyan with its horns and rushes toward the gorge. Seeing this, Airgan throws a spear at the beast to save his son. The spear strikes the buffalo, wounding it, but even injured, it doesn't release Noyan immediately. Miraculously, the buffalo hurls Noyan safely out of the gorge. From here, the story moves into a flashback, a week earlier, where we see the tribe preparing for the hunt. They are shaping sharp weapons from stones, but it's not just preparation, it's a test for the new hunters. Only those who craft the sharpest, most effective weapons are allowed to join the hunt. Noyan participates and proves himself worthy. That night, Noyan's mother pleads with Airgan not to take their son along, fearing for his safety. She loves him deeply and cannot bear the thought of losing him. Airgan responds, "Winter is coming, and this is the season for hunting. If we do not hunt now, we will starve. Noyan must learn to prove himself as my son." The next morning, as the tribe sets out, Noyan's mother is anxious, but Airgan reassures her, "Do not worry. Noyan will be safe." A little way into the journey, another tribe appears, also hunting for winter provisions. After a long and perilous trek, they reach an ancient stone structure built by their ancestors to honor those who lost their lives along this dangerous route. As they proceed, they encounter a wild boar, which Airgan wounds with a spear. He tells Noyan, "You must kill it." But Noyan has never hunted before, and seeing the boar up close, fear overtakes him. Noyan's life is spared. So Airgan snatches the stone dagger from his hands and kills the wild boar himself. Then he looks at his son and says, "I never thought you would be such a coward. Only the strong survive here. This is the law of the jungle." In the darkness of the night, as they eat their prey, strange noises begin to echo around them. Airgan warns everyone to stay alert. Suddenly, a lion appears and grabs one of the boys. The next morning, in memory of the boy, they build a small grave and continue their journey in search of prey. But after miles of walking, they still find nothing. After a full day of traveling, they decide to spend the night in a cave. There, Airgan tattoos a pattern of stars on Noyan's hand and tells him, "These stars will guide you in the night sky. Follow them, and you will find your way home." It's a sort of map, a guide to return home if anyone gets lost while hunting. With the break of dawn, they set out once again to hunt and come across tracks of wild buffalo. Excitement fills the group as they prepare to hunt. During the hunt, a buffalo throws Noyan off a hill. The story jumps back to the present, showing Noyan being thrown onto the rocks. He clings to a small stone between the cliffs. Airgan rushes to him, shouting, "Don't give up! I'll save you!" But the stone breaks, and Noyan falls, hitting the rocks and sliding into a narrow path between them. Airgan wants to follow him, but the tribesmen stop him. They say, "There's no way down from here. Your son is no longer in this world. We don't want to lose you. You are our leader. Your responsibility is to keep us safe and take us back home." Airgan refuses to listen. He sits by the cliff all night, calling for his son. Eventually, he realizes his son is truly gone. By the next morning, when Noyan hasn't returned, the tribesmen build a small stone grave in his memory and leave with the hunted game. After they leave, a vulture lands on Noyan and begins pecking at him. But before it can harm him, Noyan's eyes open. He knocks the vulture away and calls for his father, but no one responds. It becomes clear that he is alone, with no one to help him. He refuses to give up and tries to climb the cliff, but he cannot go higher. Below is a deep ravine. Fate seems to offer him another chance at life. Soon, heavy rain begins, gradually turning the ravine into a flowing river. Noyan realizes that to survive, he must jump into the water. Seeing that it has become deep enough, he leaps. He loses consciousness upon impact. The next day, he wakes up in a different place. He survived the fall, but his leg is broken. He improvises a splint with some wooden sticks to make himself able to walk, and he climbs back to the cliff from which he fell. There, he sees the grave made by his people and breaks down in tears. He understands that Airgan and the tribe believed he was dead. Suddenly, he hears strange sounds nearby. To avoid danger, Noyan climbs a tree and spends the entire night on a dry branch. The next morning, when he goes to drink water, he sees a pack of wolves approaching rapidly. Some attack him, and he runs back to the tree. A wolf bites his leg, and Noyan strikes it with his knife, injuring it. The wolf falls to the ground, and Noyan climbs back up the tree, spending another night perched above, alert and determined. The wolves waited below. But when morning came, all the wolves had gone, except the wounded one that Noyan had struck with his knife the previous day. Noyan first crafted a spear for himself from his knife and went to face the wolf. But when he confronted the wounded wolf, compassion took over, and he decided not to kill it. Instead, he first tied its mouth shut with a cloth and then carried it to the cave where he had stayed with his tribe the previous night. The next morning, he went out to search for herbs, which he ground and applied to his own wounded leg. While drinking water, he noticed that the wolf had freed itself from the rope around its mouth. Initially, he panicked, but then he calmly approached it and offered water. Seeing Noyan's peaceful intent, the wolf hesitated, but Noyan reassured him, saying, "I won't hurt you. I want to save your life." The wolf drank the water, understanding that Noyan posed no threat. Noyan applied the herbal mixture on the wolf's wounds and offered it some of the insects he ate himself. Slowly, a bond began forming between the two. Before sunset, Noyan hunted a rabbit, as he hadn't eaten all day, and shared part of it with the wolf. Both were badly injured, so they stayed in the cave for several days. One night, Noyan looked at the tattoos on his hands, given to him by his father, Airgan, and gazed at the stars. He realized he needed to return home to see his parents and told the wolf, Alpha, that it should return to its pack. The next morning, Noyan prepared for his journey, but Alpha followed him. Even after traveling a considerable distance, Alpha didn't leave his side. Noyan tried to chase him away, but the wolf was attached, having formed a bond due to the life Noyan had saved. At one point, Alpha spotted prey and attempted to hunt it but failed. Noyan understood that Alpha was hungry and fed him from his own supplies. This was the first time Alpha ate directly from Noyan's hands, cementing their friendship. Soon, Alpha hunted a rabbit, and together they shared it, sleeping side by side that night. The next morning, Alpha licked Noyan awake, and Noyan jokingly complained about the smell and tossed him into the river. Alpha even caught a fish for them to eat. Noyan continued his journey, and by nightfall, they lit a fire together. Suddenly, Alpha sensed other wolves approaching. It was his family. Understanding this, Noyan told Alpha to return to them, and the wolf left with his pack. The next morning, Noyan continued his journey through heavy snow. From a distance, he saw wolves eating a dead prey, including Alpha, but his pack prevented him from eating. Recognizing him, Noyan ran toward Alpha, but while running, the ice beneath him broke. He fell into a frozen lake and began to struggle for breath. Alpha tried desperately to break the ice to save him, but it was thick. Noyan managed to stab through the ice with his knife and surface. Cold and shivering, Noyan quickly lit a fire and warmed himself. The next morning, he set off again with Alpha. Soon, he spotted a man frozen to death, which saddened him deeply. He searched the man's tent but found nothing useful except a bow and arrows, which he took. Meanwhile, dangerous wolves were following them, and they ran into a cave for shelter, only to find a black panther inside. The panther attacked Noyan, but Alpha intervened, fighting it. While Alpha struggled, Noyan shot the panther with an arrow, killing it. He then tended to Alpha's wounds, thanked him for saving his life, and vowed never to abandon him. After many miles, Noyan finally found the remnants of an ancient settlement built by his ancestors. Relieved to know he was on the right path, he pressed on, carrying a weakened Alpha on his shoulders through a blizzard. Slowly, they approached his tribe, and from a distance, his father noticed someone approaching. Seeing his home after so long, Noyan's joy knew no bounds. Exhausted, he finally reached his tribe and collapsed. His parents, who thought he had died, were overwhelmed with happiness to see him alive. Noyan asked them to save Alpha. Hours later, he awoke at home, surrounded by his parents and the tribe, with Alpha lying beside him. To his surprise, he realized Alpha had given birth to Pups. Astonished, Noyan embraced her, grateful for her loyalty and companionship. Weeks passed, and Alpha's pups grew strong, marking the beginning of a new era where humans and animals started forming bonds. Finally, Noyan had endured countless challenges, returned home safely, and now had Alpha and her pups by his side.